In a world where chicken feed prices are rising and backyard farmers are scrambling to keep their flocks healthy without breaking the bank, the Amish have quietly been doing something astonishing. They're raising strong, productive egg-laying hens and meat birds without relying on grain-based feed. Instead of spending a fortune on bags of commercial pellets, many Amish families feed their chickens for as little as $1 a week using methods that are shockingly simple, incredibly sustainable, and rooted in common sense that modern homesteaders often overlook. The secret lies in understanding that chickens are not grain-dependent animals. In nature, they are foragers, natural scratchers, and scavengers who thrive on variety. The Amish take full advantage of this instinct. Rather than caging their birds or relying on store-bought feed blends, they allow their chickens to roam, scratch, and feed themselves on what the land naturally provides. Chickens are moved around pastures or garden edges where they eat insects, worms, weeds, and kitchen scraps. This not only cuts costs, it also produces healthier birds and richer eggs. The Amish don't view their chickens as livestock to be managed with products. They see them as partners in the natural cycle of the homestead. Chickens help control pests, fertilize soil, and turn leftovers into protein. That means every piece of food waste from the kitchen, peels, crumbs, stale bread, and even old milk or yogurt, is fair game for chicken feed. Nothing is wasted. Scraps that most households would toss in the trash are instead transformed into nourishment for the flock. This recycling method alone covers most of the chicken's dietary needs at no extra cost. To supplement this natural diet, Amish families often grow their own fodder crops. Sprouted grains like wheat, barley, or oats are soaked in water and allowed to sprout over several days. These sprouts become a living green feed packed with nutrients. A single handful of sprouted fodder delivers more protein, fiber, and enzymes than pounds of dried grain. And the cost? Just a scoop of seed and a little water each week. No soil, no lights, no equipment, just glass jars or old trays and a daily rinse. In many cases, chickens are rotated around garden beds or compost piles. The birds happily dig through the soil for grubs and larvae, while also turning and aerating the compost. This gives them protein-rich food and keeps the homestead ecosystem thriving. In the process, the chickens become working animals, contributing to the overall productivity of the land while feeding themselves naturally. These grain-free strategies aren't trendy, they're traditional. They're born out of necessity, not luxury. And the result is a flock that's hardy, active, and far less prone to disease. Their eggs are deep orange and full of flavor. Their meat is leaner and cleaner, and their keepers spend less than $1 a week to maintain them. The Amish have learned to turn everyday waste and overlooked resources into high-quality feed, and they do it without spending more than a few coins a week. The foundation of their $1 a week feeding system is simple: use what you already have. One of the most surprising and effective feed sources for Amish chickens is weeds. To many people, weeds are a nuisance, but to chickens, they are a salad bar. Amish families routinely pull dandelions, lamb's quarters, plantain leaves, clover, chickweed, and thistles from their gardens and toss them into the chicken yard. These greens are packed with nutrients like calcium, iron, and magnesium, vital for strong eggshells and healthy birds. By feeding weeds instead of dumping them in a compost pile, the Amish eliminate two problems with one solution. Another core component of their feeding method is kitchen waste. Every family meal leaves behind scraps: vegetable peels, fruit cores, crusts of bread, sour milk, eggshells, and even cooked leftovers. Rather than tossing these out, the Amish collect them in metal pails or enamel basins. At the end of each day, these scraps are brought to the chicken yard, where the birds eagerly sort through and feast on whatever they can digest. Potatoes, rice, squash, stale pancakes, and corn cobs all become part of the bird's daily nutrition, and not a crumb is wasted. Perhaps the most protein-rich part of their diet comes straight from the earth: bugs. Amish chickens are given room to roam, and in that freedom they find beetles, grasshoppers, earthworms, larvae, and spiders, exactly what chickens were meant to eat. Insects provide amino acids and natural fats that build muscle, support egg production, and boost immunity. Chickens also feast on maggots in compost piles or fly larvae near manure pits. While this might seem unappetizing to outsiders, it's perfectly natural and extremely effective. Some families take it a step further by deliberately cultivating insects. In shaded corners of the barn, they place buckets of food waste covered in mesh to attract flies, which lay eggs that hatch into maggots. These maggots become a free, live protein source for the flock. Winter poses a unique challenge for most backyard chicken keepers, but not for the Amish. Their flocks continue laying, scratching, and thriving, even when snow blankets the fields and temperatures dip below freezing. The secret lies in seasonal preparation, low-cost insulation tricks, and feeding routines that don't require store-bought bags of grain. Instead, the Amish lean into natural, high-fat, high-energy foods sourced from their own pantries and farms, and they keep their birds warm and productive without any electricity or modern heating devices. One of the most effective Amish winter feeding strategies is the use of fermented or soaked grains. If dry feed is used at all during colder months, it's rarely given straight from the sack. Instead, it's soaked in warm water for several hours or overnight, which softens the kernels, boosts digestibility, and warms the birds internally when eaten. In addition to soaked grains, the Amish feed their chickens cooked kitchen scraps, especially warm foods like leftover potatoes, root vegetables, squash, and grains. These are often mashed together with lard or bacon grease, providing a calorie-dense mixture that fuels the birds in cold weather. Dried pumpkins and mangle beets, stored from the summer garden, are chopped and fed during the coldest months, offering both hydration and nutrition without refrigeration. Chickens also receive crushed eggshells or oyster shells to maintain calcium levels for egg production through the winter. Amish chicken coops, though simple, are built with cold in mind. Walls are thick, often layered with straw bales, wool scraps, or wood shavings for insulation. Windows are covered with plastic or old quilts to block drafts. Instead of electric heat lamps, the birds are kept warm with deep bedding, a method where straw, sawdust, and manure are layered on the floor throughout the winter. As the bedding breaks down, it creates natural warmth from composting action. This system not only keeps chickens cozy, it also results in rich compost come spring. To encourage movement and keep their flock active, Amish farmers provide outdoor runs even in the snow. These areas are protected with makeshift windbreaks made from scrap wood, feed sacks, or canvas sheets. Chickens are allowed to scratch, peck, and dust bathe in ash or dry dirt, which the Amish store in barrels through summer just for this purpose. What's most striking is that Amish flocks remain remarkably healthy, without commercial medicine, vaccines, or synthetic supplements. The birds are given access to apple cider vinegar in their water, crushed garlic in their mash, and occasional herbal tonics made from comfrey, yarrow, or oregano. These natural remedies boost immunity, aid digestion, and reduce parasites. Sick birds are quarantined immediately and treated by observation and hands-on care. not chemicals. Chickens are not just egg machines to them. They're workers, recyclers, companions to the garden. When you build a homestead that gives back to the animals as much as it asks from them, something powerful happens. The cost of care disappears. This is why the Amish chicken feeding system costs so little. Not because it's cheap, but because it's complete. Every part of the farm contributes to feeding the chickens, and the chickens return the favor by fertilizing the soil, clearing weeds, eating bugs, and laying eggs that feed the family. There's no waste. The leftover peel from an apple becomes a treat. The old pumpkin in the barn becomes winter feed. The weeds pulled from the garden become greens. Even the ashes from the fireplace become dust baths. What most people throw away, the Amish see as resource. There's also a deeply spiritual layer to this way of life. The Amish believe that animals should be treated with care, dignity, and gentleness. Their chickens are not caged in dark, confined spaces. They are given room to live as chickens should, to scratch, to forage, to dust, bathe in the sun. This low-stress environment produces healthier birds, stronger immunity, and richer eggs. The flock thrives because it is in balance with its environment, not because of artificial control. For those looking to break away from commercial feed dependence or rising costs, the Amish method offers more than inspiration. It offers a blueprint. By growing fodder, recycling kitchen waste, letting chickens forage, and rotating them through the garden, you can dramatically reduce feed costs and increase the health of your flock. You don't need a lot of money, land, or fancy equipment. You just need observation, routine, and a willingness to work with the natural systems already around you. Feeding chickens for $1 a week isn't about cutting corners. It's about returning to the roots of animal husbandry. It's about seeing chickens not as consumers of grain, but as contributors to a larger life cycle. The Amish show us that when we feed our animals from the land and let them feed the land in return, we enter a circle that sustains itself, season after season, year after year. In a noisy world full of expensive solutions and artificial interventions, the Amish remind us that sometimes the best answers are already at our feet, in the compost pile, in the sprouted seed, in the weeds we pull, and in the scraps we were about to throw away. All it takes is a change of perspective and a return to something much older, much simpler, and far more powerful than grain.